From Leuzinger High School, Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22 presents the high school game of the week. This is our second game back-to-back series here, Lawndale and Leuzinger. Leuzinger a 10-0 victor on Tuesday as Sergio Dorado pitched a one-hitter. The Leuzinger Olympians, with that 10-0 victory, scored 10 runs on 12 hits, and they were helped out with 5 errors for the Lawndale Cardinal. Today it'll be Johnny Membrano with a 3-1 record on the mound. His last victory was 7-4 over Morningside last week. We've seen him one other time on our Game of the Week broadcast. Earlier this month, he defeated Hawthorne by a score of 5-2. It'll be Membrano on the mound with Dickey behind the plate. Dorado, who pitched Tuesday, will play first base. Phillips at second, Cabral at short, Randolph at third base. Going left to right in the outfield, Scales, Carpenter, and Marshall. It's the leadoff hitter, the center fielder, Brian Williamson. Looks at a ball one. Umpiring today behind the plate, Bill Waller, and on the bases, Bill Conaway. We're just underway. I'm Mike Kennedy with the play-by-play. You're watching the Game of the Week on Channel 22. Takes a fastball for a strike. Count evens up now at 1-1. It's a cloudy, overcast day here at Leuzinger. Slight breeze, temperature in the high 60s. Fastball, just missing. Dimensions at the Olympian field, 325 down the left field line, 340 in the left field gap, 335 to center, 325 to right center, and 290 down the right field line. Williamson steps out. It'll be Williamson, Savoya, and Jenks, the top of the order here for the Cardinals. Record of 1-6, their first year of varsity competition. Ground ball to the shortstop, Cabral, and over to first, we've got one down. Lawndale, a record of 1-6 and 0-3 in Pioneer League play. Leuzinger Olympians, Joel Romero is their head coach, and they have a record overall at 8-4. They're 5-0 in the Pioneer League. Stepping in will be today's pitcher, Aaron Savoya, who came in relief on Tuesday of Enrique Salazar. Membrano, 3-1 on the year, delivers fastball just a little high. Steps right up, checks with Dickey and delivers for a strike. Comes back at 1-1. Jams him. It's a looper to the shortstop, Cabral, for the second out. So we've got 2 down. Sergio Dorado had a no-hitter going to the top of the 7th and gave up 1 hit. Leadoff hitter in the 7th, Mike Jenks, had that hit, and Jenks steps in and fouls it away. So he had the 1 hit on the afternoon for the Cardinals, and the count goes no balls, 1 strike. Michael Jenks, the catcher, batting in the 3 position, and you can hear the starter's gun behind us going off. They're holding a track meet here at Leuzinger this afternoon. Breaking ball outside, the count to 1-1. Shot of Johnny Membrano. And from behind home plate. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Check swing right at Randolph. Scoops and throws. Membrano sets down the Cardinals 1-2-3 in the top of the first. We're coming back with the Leuzinger lineup. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22. Welcome back to Leuzinger High School. Johnny Membrano sets down the Lawndale Cardinals 1-2-3, top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first. On the mound is Aaron Savoya, who pitched the last 3 innings in relief of Enrique Salazar earlier this week. For Leuzinger, leading off will be Fernando Crabal, batting .474, batting second Sean Scales, batting third is Randolph. In the 4th position as the designated hitter is Stephen Paez. Batting 5th, Jose Carpenter. In the 6th position, moving to first base today after pitching a one-hitter, is Sergio Dorado. Batting 7th is the catcher Jason Dickey. In the 8th slot is Andre Marshall in right field. And the second baseman batting 9th is Kevin Phillips. The infield for Lawndale has Jenks behind the plate, Gillum at first, Lamos at second, Salazar the shortstop, Carpenter at third base. McCallion, Williamson, and Camacho left to right in the outfield. Cabral squares the bunt, then pulls it back, and the first pitch is high. He scored 3 times and had 3 stolen bases in Tuesday's 10-0 victory. So Fernando batting .474 on the season, open stance. Savoya delivers with a base hit into left field. Juggled by McCallion, and he returns it. So the leadoff hitter is on, first hit of the afternoon, just as he did Tuesday. Leads it off. Tuesday he had a bunt single to get on. That'll bring up Sean Scales, the left fielder, who went 2 for 3 in Tuesday's win, batting .273. They'll check the runner. Gillum holds. A pitch is high. Jenks retrieves. Tom. Savoy on the mound, a freshman right-hander. They'll check again. Just missing. Pitch low and outside. And we know Cabral had 3 stolen bases and scored 3 times Tuesday. 2-0 delivery. Out of a stretch. And they'll toss it over. Gillum at first. Channel 22, our sports team is proud to present action from all the high schools at Hawthorne, Lawndale, and Leuzinger. The delivery, and it hits Scales in the back of the left calf, and he is on, hit by the pitch. Cabral moves up to second. So runners at first and second. A similar start to what happened on Tuesday. Leuzinger scored 3 in the first. Calarian Randolph, 3 for 5 Tuesday. Steps in with a .421 average, and the pitch is behind him. So after hitting Scales, Randolph looks at a pitch that's wild, and Jenks is going to go to the mound and talk with his freshman. Tell him to settle down, take a deep breath, just throw strikes. Ground ball helps him get a double play. Cabral at second, Scales over at first. Nobody out, bottom of the first. A real young team with 4 freshmen, a sophomore, 7 juniors, and 2 seniors on this team. And just missing with a fastball. So Robert Bartz has got a real young team in its first year of varsity competition. The high school's only 5 years old. Romero down on the third base coaching blocks for the Olympians. Randolph, open stance, cocks the bat. Out of a stretch, Savoya steps back off the mound. fouled away at the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Steps back in the box. Twelve RBIs on the season. And Randolph wants time. Savoy out of a stretch. Freshman right-hander as his shortstop. Salazar duck in behind the runner, Cabral. No throw, no play is made. Randolph waiting for the 2-1 pitch. The runners break, and it's fouled away on a breaking pitch on a hit-and-run play. So they started the runners, and Randolph not able to handle the pitch. Count evens up at 2-2. 2 on, nobody out. Just underway here from Leuzinger. Now Lamas tries to chase Cabral back to second. And again, Randolph calls for time. Check the runner and the pitch. Fouled away into the first base Leuzinger dugout. And they sort of scatter over there to get out of the way. Randolph second on the team in RBIs behind Dorado. He's got a chance to deliver here in the bottom of the first. Runners at first and second. 2-2 is the count. Junior third baseman. They hang it to him down to the third baseman. Randolph steps on the bag, long throw. It's not going to get him. So they record the out on the force play at third, and Randolph beats out the relay over to first. Scales move on to second, and Randolph is on at first. So the same situation as the designated hitter, Steven Paez, steps in with runners at first and second and 1 out. Fouled away, left side, out of play. Paez 2 for 4 in Tuesday's encounter, batting .324 on the season. Out of a stretch. Up the middle for a base hit. And they'll bring it back in as Williamson throw to the plate, holds the runner at third, and now the bases are full. Scales at third, Randolph at second. Paez with the base hit. One out, bases loaded. 2 hits in the inning. Brings up the center fielder, Jose Carpenter, who was 2 for 4 in Tuesday's win. Carpenter batting .393 on the season. Pitch is high. Bases loaded with just 1 down, 2 hits in the inning. We're in the bottom of the first. Lawndale went down 1-2-3 in the top of the inning. And out of a windup. Pitch is high. Arian Savio trying to get out of a jam with the bases loaded. Just a freshman. Scales off third, and the pitch. Missing. Three balls, no strikes. One down, bases full. Gonna have Carpenter swinging. If he gets a pitch he likes, the base is full for a strike. 3-1. There's a nice look at the right-handed batter. The 3-1 delivery. Pitch is up, and Carpenter draws a walk and brings Scales in from third. First run of the afternoon, Leuzinger leads 1-0. Randolph moves over to third. Paez goes on to second, and Carpenter is on with a walk. So Savio hits Scales, and now he walks Carpenter. 2 hits in the inning. Bases full, 1 down. Just missing. Sergio Dorado batting .474, now with the bases loaded. Here comes a runner from third. They try a squeeze. Randolph dives in, and he's safe. Gutsy call by Joel Romero, and they expected Dorado to get the bunt down. He misses the pitch for a strike, leaves the count at 1-1, and with a headfirst slide, Randolph steals home. And he's coming in there head first with a batter and a catcher around that home plate area. Here's the 1-1 pitch. High to make it 2-1. Two to nothing now, Leuzinger leading. Runners at second, third. Everybody moved up on the steal with a squeeze play. Off the end of the bat, down to the first baseman. Gillum goes to the bag, and they've got 2 runners over at third base. He'll relay it to Salazar, coming in to score a run, which will count. Still in a rundown, and they make the tag play. But Paez comes in to score the 3rd run in the inning on the rundown of Jose Carpenter. Dorado grounds out to first. So it's a wild bottom of the first for Leuzinger. They get 3 runs on just 2 hits. No errors in the inning, 1 hit batter and 1 walk. It's 3-0. Leuzinger over Lawndale. We're coming right back with the top of the 2nd inning. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22. Welcome back to Leuzinger High School. The Olympians score 3 runs on just 2 hits. They steal home plate, and they get a run there. They have 1 walk and 1 hit batter and get 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. Lead 3-0 as we go to the top of the 2nd inning. Ken McKillian, the left fielder for the Cardinals, leads off. Membrano's pitch with a swing and a miss, and gets his first strikeout this afternoon. Stepping in is the first baseman, Jeremy Gillum, who started that double play to end the inning. He had a ground ball, tagged the base, and then with the rundown play, they got the tag out of Carpenter at second base. Steps out of the box. Checks down the third baseline. Membrano delivers. Popped up, out of play. Headed into the bleachers. There's a lot of students here this afternoon right behind us watching the track and field events. I hope they brought a glove. Fastball to Gillum. Into right center, and coming on the run to make the catch is the right fielder, Andre Marshall. So we've got 2 down. Brings up the second baseman, Jose Lamas. Lamas, a sophomore for this Cardinals squad. First pitch swinging. Ground ball, Phillips. And so Membrano, another easy inning, sets down the Cardinals 1-2-3. They are scoreless, and Leuzinger leads 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. Welcome back to Leuzinger High School. We go to the bottom of the second where the Olympians lead Lawndale by a score of 3-0. Aaron Savoya starting his second inning on the mound. Delivers a fastball just missing at the knees. Jason Dickey, the catcher, was 2 for 5 Tuesday, 267 on the season. Called strike. Defensive help behind Savoya. He was able to get out of bases loaded jam after Randolph stole home plate. The 1-1 delivery. That's short and in the dirt. Three runs, 2 hits for the Olympians. We're in the bottom of the second. They lead 3-0. Johnny Membrano for Leuzinger shut down Lawndale 1-2-3 in the first and the second with a swing and a miss by Dickey. And a count of 2-2. There's a shot of the freshman right-hander. And now Dickey at the plate. Fastball just misses. Marshall and Phillips to follow here in the second. Foul tip at the plate, and Jenks not able to hold on to it. Dickey stays alive. Infield playing about medium. Hanging a curveball inside, almost hits Dickey, and he draws a walk. Two walks this afternoon and a hit batter for Savoya. Brings up the right fielder, Andre Marshall. Marshall went 0 for 3 Tuesday. Dickey off first. They'll square and bunt, and it's fouled away by Andre Marshall. 1 on, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning. Crosstown rivals here, Leuzinger and Lawndale. Leuzinger won the first of this back-to-back series, 10-0 Tuesday. Now they host Lawndale, and they lead 3-0 in the bottom of the second. Out of a stretch, Marshall at the plate. Breaking ball is going to miss. Bill Waller's our home plate umpire. Bill Conaway on the bases umpiring this afternoon. The delivery is high. Two and 0. Second baseman Kevin Phillips on deck. Dickey trying to get a jump off first. This one is behind the head of Marshall, and on a wild pitch down to second goes Dickey. Counts 3 balls, no strikes to Marshall. So some control problems for Aaron Savoy. Walked 2, hit 1, and a wild pitch now. Marshall sees a fastball. He's going to swing. He's ahead in the count. 3 balls, no strikes. And ball 4. Back-to-back walks for the Olympians. Puts runners at first and second. Brings up the number 9 hitter, second baseman, Kevin Phillips. And he'll visit with Joel Romero. Now see if they play small ball, move the runners over. There's nobody out. Third walk this afternoon now. Phillips batting .364 in the early season. Savoya from the stretch. Looks intently in at the plate. Sees Lamos chase the runner back at second, and his pitch is high. So his last 4 pitches have been very high with an early release on that fastball. Took Dickey to 3 and 2 before he walked him, but did not throw a strike to Marshall. Now he bluffs, looks back at second. Phillips stands in, squares to bunt, fouls it back into the screen. So after taking a pitch, the bunt play is fouled off. It's 1-1. Runners at first and second. Nobody out, bottom of the second. 3-0, Leuzinger. Jenks behind the plate. Squares the bunt, and the pitch goes behind. It looks like it was a knuckleball. And the runners advance on the second wild pitch here in the inning. And Robert Bart's got to have somebody warming up in the bullpen because this freshman is struggling now. Dickey moves on to third. Marshall up to second. Counts 2 balls and a strike. Just missing. Jenks takes time, goes to the mound. They might as well issue a walk here to load the bases. And he'll be back to the top of the lineup with Fernando Crabal for Leuzinger. Three-one pitch to Phillips. Called strike, up and in. So it's full. Nobody out, runners at second and third. Savoy out of the windup and delivers. He gets a strikeout. That's his first strikeout today. And it's the first out in the inning. Back to the top of the order with Fernando Crabal, who is 1 for 1 this afternoon. We've got runners at second and third, one down. Crabal squares the bunt and then lines it into left field. Past the center fielder, Williamson. 2 runs will score. And a single and a 2-base error for Fernando Crabal. So he gets 2 RBIs. And with a 2-base error, he'll charge that to the center fielder as he let it skip by him all the way to the fence. Dickey scores, Marshall scores. 5-0 now in the bottom of the second inning. Still 1 out, runner at third. So with the single in the air, he advances all the way to third. 1 down, and left fielder Sean Scales looks at a pitch in the dirt, handled by Jenks. 2 balls, no strikes. Two runs in the inning. Just missing with a fastball. So 2 walks and 2 wild pitches, and Leuzinger capitalizes with Crabal lining a pitch into left center. And a pitch is low. Out of a windup with a runner on third. Fouled away at the plate. Count is full, 3-2. Scales with a .373 average. Looks at the freshman right-hander. Runner at third, and the pitch is up and inside. So now Leuzinger will have runners at first and third. Third walk in the inning. Both Dickey and Marshall, who reach base on walks, have come around to score. Runners at first and third. 1 down as Phillips struck out. Just 1 hit in the inning for Leuzinger. Scales at first, and Randolph steps in and then steps out. Cabral is at third. See whether or not the Olympians put a run on. Randolph has already stole home plate. Breaking ball is low. And I'm sure Kalarian, if he gets the pitch he likes, he'll be swinging. Batting .421. Runner from first goes. This one into shallow left field. It's McCallion, and now the relay. Not in time as it's held up at third by Carpenter. 3 runs in on the inning. And Randolph with a sacrifice fly brings Cabral in to score. 2 outs, and the number 4 hitter is designated hitter Stephen Paez. He's 1 for 1, came around and scored in the first, and the runner breaks. And with a half slide, steals second base. So he's in scoring position. Six to nothing, Leuzinger. Half swing, half effort by Paez. Carpenter's on deck. Paez, the 7th batter in the inning. Pitches outside. 3 have come around to score. So Leuzinger with 3 in the first, 3 in the second, leads 6 to nothing. Short porch at 290 down the right field line. I know Paez has his eye on that. Here's the pitch. Fouled away at the plate. We're at 2-2 now. We'll see what Scales does off second. He's got a pretty good lead. They're going to creep in behind him. First Lamos, then Salazar. The pitch, a hanger curveball into left center over the center fielder's head. Williamson will chase it down near the center field fence. Coming around to score is Scales. And with the double is Steve Paez, the designated hitter. He's 2 for 2. Drives in a run. 4 runs in. It's 7 to nothing. Leuzinger over Lawndale. 3 walks in the inning have really hurt Savoia. Just 2 hits for Leuzinger, but 4 runs. Breaking ball, hanging inside for ball 1. Paez off second. Carpenter with a .393 average. Looking back at second. And a fastball with a swing and a miss. Jose Carpenter walked in the first inning with a runner in scoring position. 4 runs in here in the bottom of the second, out of the stretch. Count goes to 3-0. Short lead off second. Now Paez creeps away. Lamos is going to chase him back. Savoia takes a look over his right shoulder and delivers. Count now at 3-1. Freshman already has 1 strikeout in this inning. Paez off second. The 3-1 pitch. Just misses. Here's the delivery. And Carpenter's on with a walk. Four walks now in the inning. Savoia had 1 walk and a hit batter back in the first, but the 4 walks here in the second are going to start to take their toll. 4 runs have come around to score. He's given up just 2 hits. Three of the 4 runs have scored, reached base as a result of a walk, and a pitch is high. Brings up the first baseman, Sergio Dorado, with Carpenter at first, Paez off second. Two down, and a pitch low inside. Robert Bartz, the head coach at Lawndale, knows he's short on the pitching staff. And we may say Salazar, who started Tuesday's game, come in the third. Fouled away out of play. Dorado stays in at 2 balls and a strike. 7-0 Leuzinger in the bottom of the second inning. Now the pitch is high, and it's 3-1. On deck, Jason Dickey, who started off the second inning with a walk, reached second on a wild pitch, came around to score. So they're going to bat around here unless they're able to get Dorado with 2 down and runners at first and second. How to play right side. Gillum gave it a thought, but it's into the stands. In Tuesday's matchup, Leuzinger scored 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, single runs in the fourth and fifth for a 10-0 victory. And they picked up right where they left off with 3 in the first today, 4 here in the second. Three-2 to Dorado. Pitch above his shoulders, fouled away, headed for the track. So the runners will be on the move. Paez off second and Carpenter from first. 4 walks in the inning, 2 hits, 4 runs. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Slice, first base side. Gillum gives chase, and in front of the Leuzinger dugout makes the catch. So 4 runs on 2 hits, 2 left. We go to the top of the third. It's 7-0. Leuzinger over Lawndale. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. Carpenter will lead it off in the top of the third for the Lawndale Cardinals, down by a score of 70-0. Johnny Membrano had it pretty easy. He shut down the Cardinals 1, 2, 3 in the first and the second. Yet to have a base runner or give up a hit. This one past the diving third baseman Randolph and into left field. First hit of the afternoon now for Lawndale. Well, they waited till the 7th inning in Tuesday's encounter before they got their first hit. And that again was by Carpenter. So it brings up the right fielder, Edgar Camacho, batting in the 8th position. Carpenter off first, and Membrano delivers. Seven runs, just 4 hits for Leuzinger, but they've picked up 6 walks. Pitch is low. Dorado holding on the runner at first. A swing and a miss. Count goes to 2-1. Carpenter down at first base with a short lead. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Camacho. And it's called strike 2. Bill Waller's our home plate umpire. And Bill Conaway on the bases. Camacho Jr. steps out. It's his first look at Johnny Membrano. And a pitch for a strike. And he goes down looking. Second strikeout now for Membrano. First out in the inning. Brings up Salazar, the shortstop, who started on the mound Tuesday. And he's first pitch swinging with a base hit into left field. So 2 hits in the inning now for the Cardinals. Carpenter on to second. Salazar at first. Just one down. It's back to the top of the order as Brian Williamson, the center fielder, grounded out to the shortstop. Back in the first. Comes to bat here in the third inning. Trailing by a score of 7-0. Lawndale in their first year of varsity competition, first year in the Pioneer League. Squares to bunt and misses. It's behind on the count. No balls and a strike. 2 runners on. 1 down. Leuzinger with a record of 1-6 on the season. 0-3 in the Pioneer League. And Leuzinger 8-4, 5-0. The pitch, and it's away from the catcher. Dickey, he'll chase it down, and the runners will not advance. Calls time. You're watching the Game of the Week on Channel 22. I'm Mike Kennedy with the play-by-play. Tom Strickfadden is our producer-director this afternoon. And we've got a great crew out here. Alan handling the camera behind the plate. The pitch is called a strike at the knees. Eric Chavez, Norma Gilbrook, Alonzo Gonzalez, and Paul Knapp doing all the production behind the scenes to bring you today's broadcast. Williamson takes his time. Looks for a sign from the third base box. Bunts, it's a pop-up. It's going to drop in front of Randolph. And he's got one play, and that's at first base, and throws it away. And the Cardinals get their first run on the afternoon. Carpenter scores all the way from third on the air. So Williamson is on, and it's 7-1. Salazar all the way around to third. The runner breaks. And here's the throw down to second by Dickey, and it's a stolen base for Williamson. So runners at second and third now. Two hits in the inning, 1 error by Leuzinger. Fastball missing. Savoya popped up to the shortstop in his first at-bat. Fastball is low. Steps out again. Looks down at third. Runners for the Cardinals at second and third. This one's fouled away. Catcher Michael Jenks is on deck. A run in the inning so far. First run in 2 games against Leuzinger. That resulted on an error by Randolph's throw to first. Here's a pitch in the dirt. Count is full at 3-2 to Savoia, the number 2 hitter. Williamson at second and Salazar at third. The pitch is outside and the bases are full. So it's the first rally of the afternoon now for Lawndale as catcher Michael Jenks will come to bat. He grounded out to the third baseman, Randolph, in his first at-bat. We're in the top of the third inning. 7-1, Leuzinger hosting Lawndale this afternoon from Leuzinger High School out of a windup. Membrano's pitch, first pitch down to the shortstop. He'll toss over to Phillips, and Phillips with the relay, and they get the double play to end the inning. So Kerbal handled it easily over to Phillips and on to Dorado. So that'll snuff out the rally. Lawndale gets 1 run on 2 hits. They were aided by a Leuzinger error. And as we go to the bottom of the third, it's 7-1, Leuzinger over Lawndale. You're watching the game of the week, and we're coming back with the bottom of the third. Welcome back to Leuzinger High School. We go to the bottom of the third. Leuzinger Olympians lead Lawndale's Cardinals by a score of 7-1. As Lawndale showed the first sign of life this afternoon. Couple of hits, 1 run, left 2 in the top of the third. So we go to the bottom of 3 with the score 7-1, and Jason Dickey steps in, lines it into center field. 5 hits on the afternoon now. First pitch swinging, and the leadoff hitter in the third is on. That'll bring up Marshall, followed by Phillips. Both Dickey and Marshall walked and came around to score in the second inning. Part of a 4-run outburst. Andre Marshall sees a fastball go high from Savoia. The freshman struggled in that 4th inning as Leuzinger was able to bat around. Now the sun trying to peek out here at Leuzinger High School. Started out in a overcast afternoon. Pitches outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Phillips on deck, and Kerbal to follow. Dickey's off first. Pitches outside, and Jenks will chase it down. Now at 3-0. And again, to remind you, that's the starter's gun. There's a track meet going on in the football stadium adjacent to the baseball field here at Leuzinger. So Marshall sees the pitch outside. He draws a walk. It's now 6 walks on the afternoon for the freshman Savoia. And second baseman Kevin Phillips, who struck out in the second inning. Second go-around for Phillips against Savoia with runners at first and second. One ball, no strikes. Kevin looks down at third. Coach Romero with the signs. Dickey is off second. Marshall at first. They'll try and duck behind, and the pitch is up and in for a called strike at 1-1. Again, Bill Waller calling balls and strikes behind the plate, and Bill Conaway on the bases. Phillips squares the bunt, pops it straight back. Diving for it is Jenks. Can't make the catch. So Michael Jenks dives, gives it a nice effort. Savoy ahead on the count, a ball and 2 strikes now with the failed bunt attempt. Five hits this afternoon for Leuzinger, 7 runs. But 6 walks have really helped their cause. Savoy's pitch hits him. And that's the second hit batter this afternoon. So 6 walks, 4 hit batters, loads the bases now here in the third. Back to the top of the order is Fernando Cribal will step in. Singled in the second, picked up 2 RBIs, ended up at third as the outfield let Savoy down. The ball went all the way through the outfielders to the left center field fence. He's first pitch swinging. See if they're going to call an infield fly rule. And dropping the ball is the shortstop, Salazar. The runners do not advance. But immediately the infield fly rule was called. That's with runners on first and second, or first, second, and third with less than 2 outs. And they made the automatic call. First out of the inning is left fielder Sean Scales comes to bat. He scored 2 of the 7 runs. Now he's going to square a bunt. Draws it back, takes a pitch up in the zone. Another thank you this afternoon goes out to Larry Bender and Chris Lay of Hawthorne Community Cable Television for all their support, as well as the Lawndale and Hawthorne City Council members. Pitch is outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Base is full. 7 runs on 5 hits for Leuzinger. And Savoy in a jam again here in the third. Foul out of play, third base side. Game just over an hour long, and we're crawling into the bottom of the third. Over the shortstop. Couple of runs are going to score. Coming all the way around from first is Phillips. And going into third with a triple is Sean Scales. So 3-run score, they clear the bases. It's 10-1. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Cable Television. We'll come back and see what Randolph does in his at-bat. So 3 runs in the inning. Randolph pops up to the shortstop, Salazar, and we've got 2 down with a runner at third. It'll be Scales off third as the pinch hitter, designated hitter, Stephen Paez comes to bat. First pitch swinging to center field, and Williamson reaches up and one-hands it. But Leuzinger is able to add 3 more runs, leave a runner at third on 2 hits, aided by 1 error, and they lead by a score of 10-1 as we go to the top of the 4th. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale and Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. First pitch swinging over the left field fence. It's going to be a stand-up double as McCallion takes the first pitch and lines it right to the base of the fence and goes in standing at second base. Left fielder Ken McCallion with a double. That's the third hit this afternoon for Lawndale. They're down by a score of 10-1. They're going to fight back. Scoring to bunt is first baseman Jeremy Gillum with a runner at second. Nobody out. We're in the top of the fourth. You're watching the Game of the Week on Channel 22. 325 down the left field line. 340 to left center where McCallion just to put that ball. Here's the bunt down. Membrano juggles it and then drops it. So it's going to be an error on the pitcher. Second error for Leuzinger in back-to-back innings. McCallion moves over to third. Gillum's on with an error by Johnny Membrano. And it brings up the number 6 hitter. Second baseman is Jose Lamos. Lamos is 0 for 1. Grounded to Phillips at second base in the second inning. This one's a chopper. Randolph's going to bring it to the plate, and they're going to make the tag there with Dickey blocking the plate. So McCallion is shut down at the plate on a nice play by Randolph. So on a fielder's choice, Lamos is on. Gillum moves over to second. We've got one down. And Carpenter will step in. Over to the bag with a wide toss, and they still get the runner. So Randolph takes it by himself and then fires across. And it's a nice play by Dorado coming off the bag to make the catch and then with the tag. So Lawndale starts a rally as McCallion gets on to lead off the inning, but he's snuffed out at the plate, and then they get a double play on a ground ball to Randolph to end the inning. We're coming back with the bottom of the fourth. It's Leuzinger leading Lawndale by a score of 10-1. You're watching the Game of the Week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22. Carpenter leads it off here in the bottom of the fourth for Leuzinger leading 10-1. They have 10 runs on 6 hits, but they've been aided by 6 walks by Aaron Savoya, the freshman right-hander on the mound, as Carpenter looks at a pitch for a strike, and the count's at 1-1. A couple of double plays have helped Johnny Membrano get out of jams in back-to-back innings. Both of them on ground balls to Randolph. And the pitch is up and in. Count at 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Number 5 hitter, Jose Carpenter, the center fielder. He is 0 for 2 today to center field. Williamson drifts back, and over his right shoulder makes the one-hand stab for the first out. Slight wind blowing out to left and left center here at Leuzinger High School. First baseman Sergio Dorado, who pitched a 1-hitter Tuesday in a 10-0 victory, is 0 for 2 as he steps in the fourth. And he's first pitch swinging. Plenty of vocal support here from Leuzinger student body in attendance. 1 down, nobody out. 10-1, Leuzinger. Savoya's pitch takes the count now to 1-1. Just missing. Tried to put that slider past him. For Leuzinger, 3 runs in the first, 4 in the second, 3 more in the third. We're in the bottom of the fourth, 1 down, nobody on. Chopped away at the plate, fouled off. Count now to Dorado at 2-2. Dickey will be on deck. Leuzinger batted around in the second inning. They sent 7 batters to the plate in the third. Just missing outside corner. We're full now at 3-2. Savoya's walked 6 this afternoon. And Dorado takes a fastball on the inside corner for called strike 3. 2 down. Just the second strikeout for Savoya as Dickey comes to bat. Dickey walked in the second and singled in the third. Pitches inside. Two down, nobody on. Into left field. And that's the 7th hit this afternoon. And the second of the game for Dickey. 10 hits. 10 runs on 7 hits for Leuzinger. Marshall has walked twice in that number 8 position. And the pitch is up. Walked in the second and scored. Walked again in the third and scored. It's a nice on-base percentage. And the pitch is outside. I'm not sure how much attention they're paying down to Dickey at first base, but he's got a pretty good sized lead. Gillum holds him on. Jenks is the catcher. He's going to look down there. Now he hops off the base with a swing and a miss. Counted 2 balls and a strike. From the stretch. Phillips is on deck. Now it goes to 3-1. Again, we want to thank the principals at both high schools, Dr. Russ Thompson at Leuzinger and Fred Gomez Terheo at Lawndale High School, as well as athletic director Alex Acostas here at Lawndale and the athletic director at Leuzinger. The pitch is up. And we're going to go full now at 3-2. Dickey off first. He breaks. A swing and a miss. So back-to-back 2 strikeouts in the inning. Dorado and Phillips make that Marshall. They'll leave a runner on, but Savoya gets out of a jam by striking out 2. We're going to the top of the 5th with the score, Leuzinger 10-1 over Lawndale. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. Welcome back to Leuzinger High School. We go to the top of the 5th. Leuzinger leads Lawndale 10-1. Johnny Sombrano, his 5th inning of work and a first pitch swinging. Foul away. Camacho, Salazar, and Williamson here in the fifth. Counted 1-1. Randolph up at the corner at third. Dorado near the grass at first. The pitch is inside. Count at 2-2. One run on 3 hits for the Cardinals, and looking at a called strike 3. One down now. Second strikeout for Johnny Membrano this afternoon. Enrique Salazar, who singled in the third and got as far as third base. One ball, no strikes. Now we got a 2-0. Salazar 1 for 1. Squares the bunt, pulls it back for a strike. 2 balls and a strike. One down, we're in the top of the fifth. You're watching the game of the week on Channel 22 from Leuzinger High School. Pioneer League action. And the pitch is low all the way to the backstop. Count goes at 3-1. On deck is Williamson. 3-1 delivery. Foul past the diving Randolph down at third base. So we're full at 3-2. Shot of Membrano. Junior right-hander. This one lifted to left, and making a sprawling effort for the catch is Sean Scales. I'm not sure if he saw it or not. Got a late jump on it. It dropped in front of him. He got his glove on it, and it will rule it as a hit. And it's the second hit this afternoon for Salazar, so he is 2 for 2. 4 hits now for the Cardinals against Membrano, and Salazar will lead it off first base as Williamson steps in, left-handed batter, who is 0 for 2. Grounded to short and then reached on an error in the third. We're in the top of the fifth. And the pitch is low. Williamson with a swing and a miss. Count now at 1-1. Salazar off first, held down by Dorado. And an off-speed pitch. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes to Williamson, and Savoya the pitcher on deck. Again, Bill Waller behind the plate, calling balls and strikes, and Bill Conaway on the bases. Just missing. Even up now, 2-2. Williamson is the junior center fielder for the Cardinals. Takes his time. Now he's in the box. Membrano looks over his left shoulder from the stretch, fouled back. Count remains at 2-2. Brano with a 3-1 record. Pitched a week ago in a 7-4 victory over Morningside. This one is looped to the first baseman, and right on the bag, making the catch is Dorado. And we've got 2 down. Freshman Savoia takes his time, looks down the third base side. Salazar at first with 2 outs. 1 hit in the inning. First pitch swinging down to Crabal. He's going to have to hurry. Makes a perfect throw, and Savoia is gone. So Lawndale gets 1 hit. They leave a runner. No runs in the inning. We're going to the bottom of the 5th with the score 10-1. Leuzinger leading Lawndale. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22. Kevin Phillips will lead it off for Leuzinger, leading 10-1. We're in the bottom of the 5th here from Leuzinger High School. Swings and misses and fouls it off on the first pitch. Leuzinger with 10 runs on 7 hits. And, of course, they've taken advantage of 6 walks by the freshman Aaron Savoia this afternoon. Count now, 2 balls, no strikes. Phillips struck out in the 2nd. Hit by a pitch in the 3rd, came around to score. Pitch is high, and he hits a 1-hopper over to Salazar, on to Gillum for the first out. Back to the top of the order will be Crabal, Scales, and Randolph for Leuzinger here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Leuzinger again with 3 in the 1st, 4 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, scoreless in the 4th. Feigning at the bunt attempt is Fernando Crabal. Senior shortstop. Batting .474 coming in this afternoon's game. Savoia's pitch inside. He's already nailed a couple of Olympian batters this afternoon. Hit 2, walk 6. Add to that 3 strikeouts. So Crabal is on. And Sean Scales will be the batter as Robert Bartz takes a trip to the mound, visit with that freshman right-hander. Michael Jenks is also there, the catcher for the Cardinals. This is the 29th batter that Savoia has faced in 4 1/3 innings. So he's thrown a lot of pitches today. We'll see how long the freshman, how much stamina he has. Slida built, stands about 5'9", 5'10". Pitches outside. They're going to throw behind the runner. They've got to play at first. Diving back in is Crabal under Gillum's tag, and Michael Jenks almost picked him off. Left fielder Sean Scales had a little trouble in the outfield in the last inning. May have lost the ball in some of the glaring sun, trying to peek through the clouds here. Randolph on deck. Cabral off first. Pitch in the dirt. Jenks makes the throw to first, overshoots Gillum. It's all the way down the right field line. Camacho's going to have to retrieve it, and Crabal cruises into third base on the air. So Cabral is 90 feet away. Scales with a chance hitter to knock him in. Looking to add to that 10-1 total. Pitches up and in. And so Scales is on. Back-to-back walks in the 5th. $11 walks now this afternoon. 4 of those have come around to score. And here's somebody you don't want to pitch to. Calarian Randolph. Looking at an 0 for 3 afternoon. Comes in with a .421 average and has runners at first and third. Scales at first. Cabral down at third. We'll see if there's a play on. Just 1 out, bottom of the 5th. Swing and a miss. And the ball's at the plate. Jumped on it by Jenks. Randolph has scored on the most exciting play of the day. A failed squeeze bunt attempt, and he came in and stole home, going in head first. Here's Scales stealing second. Jenks bluffs the throw and holds the runner at third, Cabral. Now runners at second and third. Savoy on the mound. And there's Randolph. Chopper up the middle. It's going to be a tough play. Shortstop Salazar over to first. And 1 run will score on the fielder's choice. Randolph gets an RBI. And the second out is recorded. So Cabral scores. Makes it 11-1. And Scales moves over to third. 2 down now. All of this without a hit in the inning. 2 walks and a throwing error. First error for Lawndale after committing 5 on Tuesday. And Paez fouls it back. Two outs with Scales at third. Paez 1 for 2. We're in the bottom of the 5th. It's 11-1. Leuzinger. To left center field. Off of the fence, and Paez is going to cruise in with a double. So he picks up an RBI. 2 runs in the inning. Just 1 hit here in the inning. (12-1) Leuzinger with a runner at second. Looking at a called strike, Jose Carpenter. An RBI for Paez. And he's got a nice afternoon, going 2 for 3 with a single and a double. Pitch is up. Count now at 1-1. So Leuzinger with 3 in the first, 4 in the second, 3 in the third, 2 more here in the 5th. And the pitch is inside. Two balls and a strike. Steve Paez at second. Popped up in front of the plate, and they're going to rule it a foul ball. Jenks is not able to make the play. So fouled away at the plate. Count to Carpenter at 2-2 out of a stretch. Savoia delivers. To the shortstop, Salazar. Over to first to Gillum. So Leuzinger gets 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and they leave a runner. We're going to the top of the 6th with the score. Leuzinger leading Lawndale 12-1. You're watching the game of the week on Lawndale and Hawthorne. Community Cable Television, Channel 22. We'll be back with the 6th inning right after this. Well, it's the top of the 6th. Leuzinger cruising along with a 12-1 lead. Michael Jenks will lead it off and swings and misses. Jenks is 0 for 2. Johnny Membrano going all the way this afternoon, giving up 4 hits and 1 run. Has 2 strikeouts. Couple of errors behind him. Dickey behind the plate calling balls and strikes. Dorado at first, Phillips at second, Cabral at short, and Randolph over at third. Scales in left field, Carpenter in center, and Marshall in right field. Neither coach has made a change in their lineup today. And a pitch is low, and Jenks is on with a walk. Just a second walk for Membrano this afternoon. Left fielder is Ken McCallion, and he swings on the first pitch over the first baseman's head. There's nobody at first as Marshall comes in and makes the play. Dorado couldn't reach it, and runners at first and second now here in the 6th. 5 hits on the afternoon for Lawndale. Jenks moves over to second. Stepping in, the first baseman, Jeremy Gillum. Gillum is 0 for 2. Squares to bunt. Back to Membrano. Doesn't even look at third. Goes over to Phillips covering at first for the first out. But he moves up the runners. As McCallion goes on to second, and Jenks moves over to third. So Robert Bratz calls for the bunt play, and they move the runners up. Jose Lamas, the second baseman, sees a pitch in the dirt, smothered, and Dickey keeps it right in front of him. Carpenter's on deck. Just 1 down, 2 runners on. Past the mound, Cabral looks the runner back and over to first. And we've got 2 outs. Runners holding. Thomas Carpenter, who is 1 for 2, singled in the 3rd, then hit into a double play to Randolph to end the inning in the 4th, and he ended a rally. Fastball for a strike. Randolph even with the bag. Well, an awkward swing this time. Didn't look like Carpenter was even ready. Jenks at third, McCallion at second. Out of a windup. Down to Dorado at first. He smothers it, goes to the bag. And again, Lawndale leaves 2 runners. They get 1 hit in the inning. And we're going to the bottom of the 6th with the score 12-1. Leuzinger over Lawndale. You're watching the high school game of the week on Lawndale Hawthorne Community Cable Television Channel 22. Welcome back to Leuzinger High School. We go to the top, bottom of the 6th inning with Leuzinger leading by a score of 12-1. Couple of changes now for Lawndale. Savoya, who is pitching, moves over to second base. Lamos, a second baseman, moves to shortstop, and Salazar comes in relief here in the bottom of the 6th. Salazar started on Tuesday, and without a lot of support behind him, was a 10-1 loser. Dorado, who made that final putout in the top of the inning, swings and misses as he leads off here in the bottom of the 6th. Dickey is on deck, followed by Marshall. Lines this one down the left field line, foul, out of play. Dorado pitched a 1-hitter in that 10-0 victory. Complete game shutout. A ball, 2 strikes. This pitch sails behind his head. Dorado's 0 for 3, looking for his first hit on the afternoon. Looks at a pitch that sails high. Ball gets past Salazar, and now they'll return it to him on the mound. Swing and a miss on a hard, high fastball. Down goes Dorado. Four strikeouts recorded by the Cardinals pitching staff as Dickey comes to bat. Dickey is 2 for 2 with singles in the 3rd and the 4th. He walked back in the 2nd. So he's having a big afternoon. And this one is going to squeak through the hole and into left field. So he's going to find himself with a perfect afternoon, going 3 for 3. Nine hits for the Olympians to go with 12 runs this afternoon. And it's Marshall with a runner at first and 1 down. Pitch is outside. Right fielder Andre Marshall scored a couple of runs, has walked twice, and struck out. 0 for 1. They don't even check on Dickey at first with a swing and a miss. Dickey's got a tremendous lead off first base. Let's see if Salazar looks over there this time. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Salazar ahead on the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dickey on first. 1 down. Now he squares the bunt. There's a curveball at his head. And a count of 2-2. I'm not sure the strategy involved there. You got 2 strikes on you. It's not a good time to bunt. Marshall with a little swagger there at 2-2. Dickey's off first. Now they're going to throw over there. And the throw gets by the first baseman, Gillum. And Dickey, with the ball going out of play, is awarded second base. Two errors now for Lawndale. Runner at second. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Marshall. Count goes full. Dickey just wandering away at second base. Savoy is going to sneak in behind him. They check the runner. Here's the pitch. Check swing, fouled away. So Andre Marshall steps back in with a count 3-2. 1 down, bottom of the 6th inning. Runner at second. 12-1 lead. Salazar delivers. Check swing. Salazar backhands it, makes a nice play over to Gillum, and they're 2 down. And it brings up second baseman Kevin Phillips. Dickey moves over to third on that fielder's choice. Dickey coming down from third. Called strike. Phillips is 0 for 2 and hit by a pitch. Chopper off the glove of the shortstop, and Lamos cannot make a play on it. We'll give him an infield single. Scores a run. Dickey comes in from third. Makes it 13-1. Back to the top of the order. Fernando Crabal. First pitch swinging, just missing the third base foul line. Fernando walked in the 5th, flied out in the 3rd, reached on an error in the 2nd, and had a base hit to lead off the ball game. This pitch hits Crabal. So Phillips moves on to second. Third hit batter this afternoon. Jenks takes time out, goes to the mound. So Leuzinger with runners at first and second. Phillips down to second. Cabral on at first. 1 run in the inning. There are 2 outs. 2 hits in the inning. And 1 error. Now a hit batter by Salazar. That brings up Sean Scales, and he fouls it out of play. Game approaching the 2-hour mark here from Leuzinger High School. You're watching the game of the week on Channel 22. I'm Mike Kennedy with the play-by-play. Salazar out of a stretch, and he misses the outside corner. Phillips away from second. And Scales lines it right at the left fielder, Michaelian, for the 3rd out. So Leuzinger gets 1 run in the inning on 2 hits. They leave 2. We're going to the top of the 7th with the score 13-1. Leuzinger over Lawndale. You're watching the game of the week. We'll be right back with the 7th. Welcome back to Leuzinger High School. We go to the top of the 7th inning with Johnny Membrano throwing a 5-hitter. He's given up 1 run, 5 hits, and 1 error behind him. 13-1, top of the 7th. Again, we want to thank our entire crew this afternoon, with Alan handling one of the cameras behind home plate. That's our rover camera. Eric Chavez, Norma Gilbrook, Alonzo Gonzalez, Paul Knapp, all doing a great job for us on Channel 22. Pitches outside. Now low. Counted 3-1. Leuzinger this afternoon. 13 runs, 10 hits, 3 errors committed by Lawndale. Called strike. Count goes to 3-2. Membrano going all the way. Caught looking. Down goes Camacho for the first out here in the top of the 7th. Membrano registering his 4th strikeout. Shortstop and relief pitcher Enrique Salazar. He is 2 for 2 today. Has failed to score. Batting in the 9th position. Singled in the 3rd. Singled again in the 5th. We have 1 down, top of the 7th. Fouled away at the plate. And we want to thank both coaches for giving us assistance preparing for today's game. Robert Bartz with Lawndale High School, Joel Romero with Leuzinger. Fouled away. 0-2 to Salazar. Tom Strickfadden is our producer and director of today's broadcast. I'm Mike Kennedy with the play-by-play. And you're watching the Game of the Week on Channel 22. And a swing and a miss. They get Salazar, but just to make sure, they're going to throw down to first, and Dickey to Dorado for the 2nd out. To the top of the order, it's Brian Williamson, the center fielder. And Williamson is 0 for 3 today. Top of the 7th. So Leuzinger scoring runs in every inning but the 4th. Holding on to a 13-1 lead over first-year varsity competition from Lawndale. Now with strike 2 to Williamson. 1-1, check that. Only 2 seniors on this first-year varsity squad. So it's a young team. Plenty of expectations for the future over at Lawndale High School. 1-1 delivery by Membrano. And it's a swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So a 10-0 victor for Leuzinger on Tuesday. And they're 1 strike away from a 13-1 victory today. And a pitch is high. We go to 2-2. home plate umpire Bill Waller's going to clean off the plate. There we go. Two and two for Johnny Membrano, going all the way this afternoon, pitching a 5-hitter. This one is looped, coming in his scales, and he makes the catch. So it's a final of 13-1. Leuzinger defeating Lawndale. For Leuzinger, their record now improves to 6-0 in the Pioneer League. They're 9-4 overall. For Lawndale, a record of 1-7 on the season and 0-4 in Pioneer League play. 1 hit, 5 runs, and 1 error behind Johnny Membrano. He gives up just a single run and 5 hits. For Leuzinger today, again, they capitalized on walks. They had 13 runs on 10 hits and 3 errors behind Savoia. Membrano is the winning pitcher. Savoia is the losing pitcher. You've been watching the game of the week from Leuzinger High School. There's our final score, 13-1. Thank you for watching Lawndale and Hawthorne Community Cable Television, Channel 22. Good afternoon from Leuzinger.